Hey everybody, it's Cyborg, and I am joined by Downforality, and we are going to break down everything from the Combat Cast today. So let's jump into it. We've got the Kollector, we've got Noob, we've got Erron Black, we've got some more information on how custom variations and online's going to work, which was nicely cleared up. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. It was a good cast overall.
Got that good cast, you know? It was a solid cast.
Yeah, they're gunning them like back and forth to the launch. It's going
Yes.
good.
Yeah, and we're going to have 3 more for next week, so it's getting crazy. But yes, all right, well, let's start off with the Kollector then. Well, no, actually, before that, let's start off with the custom variation stuff, because they pretty much tackled that right off the top. So people were saying, you know, in the chat that they wouldn't address it. You know what? They did. And I said they would because they've addressed a lot of things that anytime the community's in an uproar about something, they're pretty good about, at least with this game, addressing it on these combat casts. So they don't spill all the beans. They don't pull that window open completely for us to see what's going on, but they at least address it and say what's going, what their thoughts are and why the things are the way they are currently and what the future holds potentially. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess going through it, they said 2 variations will be there at launch, and these will not be the ones that we saw in the beta. So these are going to be completely new variations that they balance out specifically for online ranked and tourney play. So we don't have to worry about, in the beta, the characters didn't have any good presets or they didn't have anything that interests me. It sounds like they're going to do more to make sure that if they're only going to launch with 2 preset variations for you to use online, it sounds like they're going to put more thought into it. Those were just placeholder stuff there just to get things out there. So that's good. Your thoughts on that much?
Yeah, I'm just happy they're acknowledging it. It shows that they actually, give a shit, and there's like you said, just such a huge uproar about it. It's good that
Yes.
they're, doing something. It's good
Absolutely.
that they did say also that augments won't affect
We're
the
getting there,
actual
you
gameplay.
just you just jumping the gun
Yeah,
on
jump
me,
the
and
gun,
then I
but
just what am I doing? Oh no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so 2 variations off the start. Then we got, and that's for just the online ranked and tourney play allegedly. We don't
yeah.
know what the tournament scene's going to use, but then yes, as you were saying, and they did say there's more like pre-built preset variations in the game, but those are the 2 that are like for online play specifically. It sounded like, at least, unless I got that confused.
No, that
But
sounds right.
and then as you were saying, that the player, like, no augments will be used online. Like there might be experience boosts and stuff like that, but there's no actual like anything that's going to affect gameplay at all online in any fashion. So not in player matches, not in ranked, of course, not in casual, any of that stuff. So that is huge in itself. Like one of our biggest concerns and our reasons for, on the last episode, what we talked about, and we talked about this in the chat, over the last few days on the Discord, is that it sucks that it was all or nothing, where it's you either use the presets, or if you want to use customs, you also got to deal with augments. That is not the case. So we kind of jumped the gun there based on the information we had. But luckily, thankfully, they clarified, and that augments will not be a part of casual matches. So if you want to play with custom variations, you have the casual player matches online without them.
Yeah, good shit.
And
Like just yeah.
and they clarified. They also said the only difference between ranked and casual are one you can use customs and one you can't. One you have to use the presets. There is no other difference. They said both will be true skilled matchmaking.
Mhm.
So casual matches, or yeah, casual non-ranked matches or whatever, they are still going to be matching you up based on a player's skill that they keep track of. So if you want to play people online that are similar in skill, you can still play casual matches, and you'll be matched up accordingly based on your skill that they keep track of. So it's not just ranked is ranked, and then casual is just, open waters where anybody can face anybody. That does not seem to be the case based on what they said on the Combat Cast when they clarified. The only difference is One has customs, one does not, and they made sure to clarify both will have true skill matchmaking. So that makes me happy. So that way, if I want to use customs, I can still play just casual matches online against randoms online, and it's still going to be based on my own skill. So I should find solid matchups based on my skill. And as I, essentially rank up through the casual match setting, I may not have like a visual rank that represents it, I would assume, but you're still going to have your win losses. Perhaps they're going to keep track of it on the back end, and you'll be able to go and face people of equal skill, and as you get better, then you'll face better people. Like, to me, that's tight, because then now you have essentially two ranked modes, just one that has probably a visual rank and one that does not. Both are still true skill matchmaking. One has customs, one is not. So that's really cool. I think that alleviates so much of my concern.
Yeah, me too. I'm still hoping for like a rank system that actually, functions correctly, and
Yes.
you get to rank up and fight people of your skill. So I hope that does like you said, like translate over to casual matches. If that
That's what they
happens,
said. Yeah, I mean that's the
yeah,
way Tyler worded it, was specifically the only difference is one's custom, one is not, and that the true skill, you're still matched up based on skill. So that's what they said specifically. I think they were trying to drive home, a lot of our same complaints was the same complaints of many in the community, and that's simply, people want to be able to still have competitive matches online using custom variations, and you get that now because now if you're matched up based on skill and there's no augments, then you're good. So,
yeah,
yeah, I think that's
yeah, and
great. Go ahead.
yeah. I was just gonna say, yeah, it's a good thing that they didn't just do the augment shit because no one wanted that. It's like this was clearly the best option that they could have gone with. And also,
Yes.
like, it may not even be a bad idea to really play casual matches because they did talk about how they may consider like going with the custom variation system in the future
In
for the
ranked.
main like
Yeah.
system, yeah, for the competitive and tournament scenes. So
Yes. So
yeah,
they're
it
looking
wouldn't be
into
like
that. They said not at launch, but they are looking into, making that possible, as well as adding more variations. They do plan to
mm,
add more variations as the game progresses. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, it does sound like from their perspective, they are going to try and find a way. They're looking into it on how to make customs in ranked as well. And yeah, in the meantime, yeah, I mean, if you still want competitive matches online, unless that number of ranked specifically, like a number next to your name or like a gold or whatever visual indicator they're gonna have or leaderboards or whatever, unless that like is what you live and die on, which I know there's some that do, and that's perfectly okay. Unless you're all about that, like the visual like gratification of that, it sounds like you can just go into casual. You're still going to be based up on skill, and you can use your custom variations without the bullshit, and you'll still have competitive matches that way. And you'll still have your own, I'm sure in your player card, you're still going to be able to track your wins and losses through player
oh
matches.
yeah,
They've done that in all the other games as well. So, I mean, you can still kind of take pride in your win loss ratio from a casual setting. So,
yeah, and it won't like divide everyone. Like I'm sure there'll be like competitive, King of the Hills or whatever, and then regular, and then it's just gonna be like it's just basically like Injustice 2. If you could use the abilities without the stats, it's like
yeah.
now that's basically an option now, and that's great.
Yeah,
So
so I think this is way better. We're in a much better position than we were just a day ago with the knowledge we had. So it's not perfect. Obviously, getting customs into ranked would be the absolute ideal scenario, as well as in the tournament scene. That is the end goal that we want to achieve. But I would say we're 80% better than what we were before. Like we are
yeah,
just in a much better position without the augments, with the true skilled matchmaking and casual play as well, and with them at least acknowledging that they are looking into, expansion in the future.
yeah. I figured it wouldn't be as bad as it seems. I feel like it was a bit of a knee jerk reaction, but
Yeah,
it's like we had good reason to. So I still
absolutely.
feel justified, but I'm glad they definitely like just alleviated a lot of our concerns.
Yep, they
And a
addressed
lot of
it
other
right
people's
off the
concerns.
top. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
was that was very cool. And on the adding more variations as we go, how do you feel about the two and them adding potentially more down the road? Like, I had said for a long time leading up to before MK11 was ever announced. A lot of people, when we talked about variations, we had asked, do we want the 3 variations back? Do we want just 2 variations? Do we want variations at all? These were popular, discussion points in the
Yeah,
community. I was always the one that was saying I like variations. I just wish it was just 2 because then you can, get all the necessity. Like you have 2 strong variations and you don't have that, the nonsense of the 3rd variation. So if we're going to start off with just 2, I mean, I feel like they're going to be doing their best to make sure that both of those variations are really strong. I don't know if they're going to rebalance the moves and the slots they take up, or these 2 preset variations that are basically built only for a ranked match and competitive, if they're going to be completely like breaking the rules of the slots and stuff so that you have more moves included. I don't know.
yeah.
They didn't
We have no idea.
Yeah, they didn't discuss that, but I'm curious what these 2 variations are going to be in that regard.
Yeah, if they are like these super variations or whatever, we might get used to that, and we may not want to go back to the custom variation system,
True.
depending on how the characters play. It's a bit worrisome right now because it does sound like 2 variations is like too little, but it's like it's based off what we know of the custom variations.
Right.
So depending on if there are more moves, it could be pretty sick. We just have to wait and see, I guess, because
And
they
they
still
could,
haven't shown us.
yeah, and this could be a trial thing. Maybe they know, like, ultimately they want to go to customs if they can figure out how to handle it on the select screen and make sure that they're balanced, all throughout. But maybe they're looking to just do 2, and maybe if they are like these super variations, so to speak, maybe if there's strong feedback that are like very positive on that approach, like people are really digging the 2 variation system, maybe that's kind of like their okay, I guess people like this, we can kind of back off on this idea.
Yeah,
Maybe the casual being able to do it without the augments and all that stuff, maybe that's kind of the best of 2 worlds where everybody kind of is happy now. Maybe that's their approach. I think they're still looking into it, as they said, but you never know. I mean, if people are happy, people are happy. How do you feel? Are you going to do? Because I mean, we don't know what the tournament scene's going to do now. We don't know
yeah.
for sure what the tournament scene's looking like. But just from a ranked versus casual perspective, are you looking at potentially doing custom variations? Are you still going to be on the 2, or is it going to depend on if there's something you like in the 2?
I'm still probably gonna do the presets overall. Like, I do want to try the custom variations if I'm not taking the presets, but whatever is like tournament standard, I'm probably gonna go for because there is that like feeling of like if I lose to some bullshit in the custom variations, it's like I don't want to lose to that shit. I don't want to like lose to this, so-called like fake bullshit. Even though it's probably not, it's just there's something that nags me. Like,
Sure.
you know, it's like it feels like I'm not playing the real game, so I kind of have to go to presets in that regard. But I don't know. I have to just see how it feels. I hope I get a preset that I like for my character.
'Cause, I
That
mean,
is something
that's
that's
yeah.
worrying me. Since there is only 2, it's like that's such a like. There's not really many chances for you to get the moves you want. So I'm worried about that in that aspect. But
Yeah,
I don't
especially if they
know.
don't do like super variations. That's really only
Yeah,
at max you're getting those 3 specials added onto the base. And
yeah, that's
that's
gonna
yeah,
suck.
there's definitely gonna be special moves left on the table at launch.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's any way. Like Raiden gets some left out because he has so many. It's like there's no way they're gonna be able to pack all of those in 2 variations. And then it's like the question of like when are they gonna release the other variations? Like,
Yeah, we
is
don't
this
know.
gonna be like a season update? Is this gonna be like just every character gets one patched in eventually, and that'll shake up everything? It's like I don't know how to feel about it yet. It
I
seems
would
very I don't know
I would
worrisome.
I would guess that they add more variations sooner rather than later, but I think it's
Yeah,
also going to depend on player feedback. If the community is in an uproar, like they just did not like this 2 variation system, they feel like so much is missing, the specials they want to use aren't there, whatever the case is. I feel like they're going to be more quick to act on it and make sure to get at least one more variation in there for each character sooner rather than later, like within the first month at the latest. I feel like.
yeah.
Whereas if everybody's kind of just feeling things out and digging it, and there isn't really a big uproar, I feel like maybe they'll take their time a little bit more and then do like a bigger put in, like, patch in a lot more at once, so to
And
speak.
take longer to put it in,
Yeah, take their
and
time
think
a
it
bit
out.
more. So yeah, I
Did they
guess it
say?
really just
Didn't they
depends on
say?
that.
Did they say it was like going to be based on feedback on like what they do with the variations or
Yeah,
something like that?
I think they plan on doing it anyways. They did say that they're going to add potentially more special moves based on like player feedback and stuff, but the actual
Mhm.
variations, that's the they pretty they sounded pretty sure that that was a direction they're going to do regardless. Is they're going to add more. I think they know that 2 is pretty. I like 16-bit even made a point to, after they had said all that, to reiterate there's only going to be 2 at the start. Like, he does not want
Mhm.
anybody to be disappointed like when they get the game and realize that. I think he was trying to make it clear as day that that is indeed the case. So
Yeah, and I'm just we have to see how it plays out. It's very hard to judge on how it will go
for
without having
sure.
the game and playing it. But it's cool. I mean, I don't know. It's like, will DLC come with like 3 or 2 or I don't know how it's gonna work. Like it, it'll take
Probably
time
2
to.
at start, because it sounded like
Yeah.
they were going to add to all characters. They said every character only has 2 at the start. It's not going to be like some have 2, some have 3, some have 4, which is nice because that
Hmm.
kind of takes away the favoritism and that kind of stuff. If your favorite character that you main only has 2, and you know Scorpion or whatever has 5, then that's kind of
Yeah, the
lame.
way they made it sound before was like characters will have differing variations, but now it seems to be that's not the case. But we
Yeah.
don't know yet. But
So
so what happens
I would expect
when
them
like
all to get like added variations at the same time. So like everyone's
probably.
going to get one more, in one patch basically.
Yeah, that's what I would expect. So then would like every other DLC after that come with like an additional variation that up
Maybe.
to
I
par
mean,
with everyone?
yeah, I don't know. I would assume, like, say Shang comes out when it's still just 2, then he's only gonna have 2. And then when the next character is released, they up it to 3, then that person probably comes out with 3, and they give Shang a third one at that point too.
Hmm.
So I think they're just gonna do it in batches like that.
That's gonna be crazy.
It's cool. I mean, that could be hype in itself, though. I mean, like, let's say you only start off with 2, and then it's kind of it feel in a way it's not really adding to the game, but like it's only just unlocking more within the game itself,
Hmm.
so to speak. But from a
There's
competitive
somewhere to play
side,
around with.
yeah, from a competitive side, if you are just sticking with the presets and you only have two to go with, when they give you a third, that's still going to be exciting for your character to know what competitive standard preset you're going to have to play with now. So I think that could be fun in its own right. It's kind of, I mean, it's, yeah, at 2 at the start's a little, it could be disappointing. It just depends, what everybody has. That said, I feel like a common thought was that a lot of characters had very go-to moves, like
Hmm.
specific specials that you had to have on your variation anyways. Like, most characters that we saw in the beta had specific, like, maybe 4 specials that were worth a damn in a lot of ways. And I feel like maybe that's part of the reason why they're only starting off with 2, is because then they can just do 2 strong variations that can compete with each other with their like best moves. You know what I mean? Like their
Yeah.
best setup. So you have one with Cabal that has the up hook, or the hook grab or whatever, the low hook grab and the dash cancel or whatever, and then you have another one with the air dash, and then whatever the hell else he has that was really good. But
Hmm.
that's how I could see it. Maybe one Scorpion with Misery Blade, and then one with some of his fire stuff. But maybe it gives them a chance to rebalance some of those moves that were feeling a little
Yeah.
lackluster, instead of starting off with 3 variations where it had one variation that was clearly inferior because they don't have enough. A lot of those special moves just felt like they were like, why would you ever pick this type of special? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I could see
Yeah.
that being a factor here too.
That would be an interesting way to balance it. Like we did think the chain stuff was kind of not very good. So if they like put a chain variation in at the start that's like rebalanced and more on par with like Misery Blade, that'd be kind of sick.
That, or even like, I was thinking in more like, give them their best specials in their 2 variations right now, and then when they add the third variation, just rebalance those moves so that way now they have a third variation that can compete with the other two. Basically, they can make sure that when they're adding a variation for each character, that it's balanced to be competitive with the other two variations, that it's not
Yeah.
just an afterthought. Because some of the ones in X felt like afterthoughts, but that's because they launched the game with everything on the table, and it's like it was harder probably to do that. Whereas after the game comes out, I feel like you can have a little bit more control when you're constructing these things.
More time to like view it and see what players are doing and shit. And then
Exactly.
yeah,
See what's working, what's not. Plus, when people mess around with customs, I'm sure they'll find, some cool tech, and maybe they can work some of that into a new
that's true.
variation. So,
And see which moves work best with each other. Yeah,
yeah.
I do wish they had told us this sooner. Like that's the
Oh,
only
yeah.
thing. It's just it's this close to launch, and then we have this kind of bomb drop where it's like it's very hard for me to expect like what to expect for my characters. So that's the only thing that I'm still bummed about. It's like I don't know what to expect for the characters I've seen already.
Sure.
What moves they're gonna have. It's like, yeah, I'm excited, but it's just I don't know how different the game will be like 2 months from now. It's gonna be like customs. Is it gonna be more variations? It's like I don't really know what to expect yet.
Right.
So we should just play this shit. It's like I just want the game to come out.
Yeah, we're 18 days away, so I mean we are really really close. But yeah,
Very
I know
close.
what you're saying. But yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. I mean I'm fine with going with a preset as long as there's something there that I have fun with. But if there's not, then it's like at that point I would rather just stick to, because I'm not a big ranked player anyways. I dabble in it like every once in a while, but if casual matches are truly still competitive and they match you based on your skill and you have records being kept anyways, I feel like that's enough for me to feel gratification from a competitive
Yeah.
standpoint, and then I can mess around with the entire game itself. I don't but it all comes down to also when we're all playing together, we got to figure out how that's going to work exactly. Or when we're running our own tournaments for the Nethercast, what are the rules? Can you use customs? Can you not use custom? Like we got to have that discussion, which we haven't yet. So I mean, all of this needs to be discussed. Technically, you can have presets versus custom as well, but then it's like you got to get into that discussion of, is everything balanced? It's just it does
Yeah,
suck
it's like a
from that
gray area.
standpoint, but ultimately, I mean, we all have the capability of playing the full game, customs and everything. It really just depends on, whether you are really into the ranked matchmaking itself, which I know some people are. Sounds like you are, and we have several people on our Discord that are. We had that discussion recently, so it sucks that it is like that, and I hope they move to custom sooner rather than later, or figure it out, or maybe we just all enjoy a preset. I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's gonna like if I go into the game and I play a Cabal variation and I see his presets and it's like I don't like either of them, it's more likely for me to go back to customs because I don't like I already experienced the Cabal I like in the beta. I don't really want to go back to
Yeah.
I don't know, forcing me to have like the gas shit when I don't want to use that. It's like I don't like forced options on me, especially after I've already experienced a version that I like. So depending on that,
Yeah.
it's like that would lead me to go more towards customs.
And
It's
you
like
know
ranked
what?
isn't that important to me. It's like I want to play ranked and get like a decent rank if there's an actual ranked system, but
Sure.
if there's not, I don't give a shit. It's like ranked is ranked. It's boring after a while.
And you know
Just
what? Like, I feel like people can, how they always say speak with your wallet? Well, speak with the way they can see how many people are playing ranked versus
yeah.
casual. Like if
Mhm.
people truly are into customs and they want a ranked mode with customs, which they said they're going to look into, speak with what you play. Like if you are dead set on being customs, go into casual and just play casual. And then when they see that 90% of the player base are playing casual matches instead of ranked matches, they're going to get the message even more so. Speak with the stats, because if they see a bunch of people playing ranked anyways and not casual, then they're going to think, "Oh, well people are fine,"
Yeah.
so it's kind of speak with the data as well, and play casual matches and use the custom variations, and they're going to be more likely to realize, oh, ranked doesn't have as much of a player base as we hope for it to have. So therefore, we got to do something about this. Like
Mhm.
that I feel like would get them also to pay attention.
Yeah, I'm very
So
curious to see what everyone feels like once we get the game. If it'll be like divided, or if it'll be a lean towards like one of the options, or what. Like, I'm curious.
I think we all want to do customs for the most part. I think Aramond was the only one that I saw that seemed like was more in the preset camp,
Hmm.
but I think most of us would prefer customs if we can. And to me, enjoying the game is far more important than specifically being able to play ranked itself. Like I want to
Yeah.
be able to get everything out for months now, and from our own experience with the game, we've been able to do customs. It's like if I play Frost or whatever, the Kollector or whoever, and I go into the game and there is not a preset that I enjoy playing, and then I see these cool custom moves and I'm like, that's what I want to have fun with. I'm gonna be like, I just want to have fun with my
Yeah,
character.
fuck the
Like
presets.
at that point, you gotta just do what's most fun. And I feel like if we all lean towards that camp, there's really no reason not to. But yeah,
Hmm.
so
I agree.
but yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Soon enough, we will have some answers and be able to know for sure whether we have something there at the start or what we want to do. And yeah, but let's move into the Kollector here. And he was revealed, with a nice, sweet trailer at the beginning of the combat cast after they got that information out of the way. And holy shit, this character, I okay, so like I said this before when we were talking during the stream. Like this is the most Mortal Kombat, or I think I said in the chat, this is the most like Mortal Kombat new character we've gotten in a long time, in my opinion. Like
Hmm.
I love Kotal, I love Erron Black, I like Devora, of course, and somewhat Cassie and Jackie's grown on me a little bit. Takeda and Kung Jin, they were all right as well, I guess, but I feel like the Kollector just like fits Mortal Kombat more than any of them. Like I don't know why. He just looks like a character. Like he reminds me of like a cross between like the Shokan and Moloch, and I don't know, man. This is just a character that just oozes like lore about him, and you want to know more about like who this guy is and what his backstory is, which they alluded, like they already kind of explained that, and I thought that was a cool backstory. But
Hmm.
I just like his design and just the way he looks and his mannerisms. It all just feels the most Mortal Kombat to me out of all the new characters, especially in this game. And I would toss in Mortal Kombat X in there as well. I don't know. What do you think from that standpoint?
Yeah, I'd agree. He's up there with like Aaron and Kodal for sure. Of like just characters kind of fitting MK. I
Yeah,
agree with that, especially in this game. Like, Cetrion's cool. Like, she does kind of fit, but like Collector definitely feels the most like you know in the spirit of MK, of just like weird shit, and he seems like almost like a Deception character or something.
yeah,
That
definitely. I could see
background.
that. That's kind of the vibes I'm getting is like you said, Deception or Deadly Alliance, but Deception especially. I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
I think that, or even like a hidden character in Mortal Kombat 2 or something that you fight. Like you don't get to play him. He's probably like one of those prop figures, like a Goro thing. Like he's probably not played
Hmm.
by an actor, of course. But yeah, he gives me those kind of vibes where like the Oni eyes that are hidden in Goro's lair. Like he's just one of those characters that I feel like is rumored. And then when you finally see him, like you're like, whoa, like that dude is fucking creepy and badass.
Yeah.
He's got that vibe, like a Goro vibe or something like that, where it's just kind of really kept like it catches you, like it's so creative. I love just this character's design. We had heard rumors that he had like 6 arms, and when we saw him, we're like, oh, he only has 4 arms, and but it's like no, the secret 2 arms on the back,
Yeah.
like holding this fucking pack from underneath, like they're just like little hooks almost, like just keeping the pack in place. And they're just these little tiny baby hand or baby arms, and those were fucking creepy to find, like see that in the trailer and everything. And then
Yeah,
his
you can only
top.
see him. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna, you can only see him when he's like stance switch. You can't even see him like when he's like
Right.
facing towards the camera. That's so cool.
Yeah, you can see it for brief moments or like during his fatality at the end when he leans over and stuff. So you can You can barely notice that they're there, but they're just. I love that their sole purpose is just to hold that pack in
Hold the bag.
place. Like
Yeah.
he's so protective of his collection in his backpack that he has two little baby arms that hold on to it, and they have no other role but to hold on to this pack. And then he has his main arms, down there, which are cool, and that's where he does most of his attacks from. But then he has his top two arms, which just kind of hang back, and I thought he had them like just behind his head, like he's just chilling, like he's just leaning, laying back, on the beach or something. Collector on the beach with some sunglasses. Give me that skin. He's like in swim trunks or something with a little suntan lotion on his nose. No, but he's not doing that. His top arms are like fucking lean, like they're bent back because they're holding the top of the pack and they're there to pull shit out. It's so fucking like creative to me. I think that's just so badass. And like his whole gameplay is pulling out several different items and weapons for him to use during battle. Like he uses a sickle at one point. He uses a chakram or whatever that was, the circular thing.
Yeah.
He uses a lantern, which I think is just my favorite fucking thing. I love lanterns, and I just think they're such a cool.
He uses like a bola. Like
lanterns like are such like a gothic aesthetic, like the old time days, like fucking the 1800s and shit. So that to me is like this horror, staple. The lantern guy, fucking, I don't know. I love that shit, like the headless horseman. So he's holding a lantern, like you said, the bolas, the weird fucking ball and chain thing. That fucking thing, and he uses blades as well, like knives and like short swords and stuff that he pulls out. Like, man, he's used so many different weapons. I just love his gameplay. Like, he's doing all sorts of interesting shit.
Yeah, he's got command grabs and shit. It's like he's nuts.
And he's got, like you said, the bolas he can charge up and cancel. If he throws the bolas on you and amplifies it, it's a free hit, so it's like Scorpion Spear, and they said it's the fastest like free hit setup that's ever been in Mortal Kombat. So it costs an amplify, but there's that option. And no, that's not the Bola one, it's the chakram version of it.
Yeah.
So that's a added special move that
he can convert off that from a good amount, like a good amount ways. Yeah.
So he can dash in really quickly, and he's got good range on his normals to move in, and he's got magic as well, so he doesn't just use like these little trinkets and stuff, which that part of the character I already love. I've been saying I've wanted an alchemist like archetype for a long time, and I think this might be the closest thing we've got to that, because when I think of an alchemist or a tinkerer, they usually have these little things that they're collect, and they have their own little weird quirky personality to them. Usually they have a lot of shit on their person. They have backpacks with a ton of tools and all sorts of shit that they collect in it. So this is kind of the closest thing I have to that. And he uses magic, so it makes me think of the alchemist, like throwing like magical fire and potions and shit. So that kind of gives me that vibe. But yeah, and he's got like little blue and green magical shit he can do. He's got a fucking a projectile absorb, so he collects your projectile into his lantern, and then if he amplifies it, it goes into this like blue floating orb aura ball that goes across the screen that he can hide behind. Oh man, there's just so much shit to this character that's just so tight, and like he fights with all of his arms except for his little baby arms. I want to see him do weird things with those things. I don't know, but he's got such cool fucking like, and even in his like intro, like he's pulling off a ring off of one of his fingers, he's checking it out, and then like when we flash back to him after the other person says their thing, he closes like his little journal. Like he has a fucking journal probably to keep like people's collections like in order. Like he probably writes all this shit down on who's paid up versus not paid up, because if you didn't know, like if you didn't watch it, he was essentially Shao Kahn's tax collector. Back in the old day, part of his regime, Shao Kahn's regime, and that's why he's called the Collector, because his race, the Knock-Nada,
something like that.
Their race don't have actual names, so it's just whatever their job is, whatever their vocation is. So he's a collector, so he's called the Collector. And yeah, he was like, and he didn't really collect just money like from people to pay taxes. It's whatever their tributes were. So sacrifice, it could be items, and that's why he has like rings and all this sorts of shit and trinkets, is because these are probably things people paid up to him and that he's collected over the years. So I think it's so fucking awesome. Yeah, man, I am just fascinated by this character. And he does like he's got a weird unorthodox fight style where he's like, he gets really low to the ground for some of his attacks, and he's, like I said, trading off which arms he's hitting with, and like he's pulling out different items from his pack to use. And
It's
shit.
very hard to keep track of everything that he's doing.
Yes,
He's doing so much shit.
Visually, he's just fascinating to
Yeah.
watch because there's just so much going on that it's just kind of crazy how well animated he is.
I feel like you're gonna have to slow, like, I want to go back and watch this trailer and slow it down and see like just everything he's doing. Like, it's so hard to just like get all of that animation, like, see, to be able to see that and understand what's happening. But there's so much detail there of
Yeah,
what he's doing. It's insane.
I love his voice too. Like it's like kind of it's almost like Nightcrawler-y, like in the sense of it's kind of like a foreign language, like a German or Swedish, something like that. Like it's kind of has that vibe to it, but a little bit monstery. So I like that. And I'm just curious about like his dialogue with people, with collecting shit, and I'm kind of curious, what he says to people. Like he already was talking shit to Baraka, saying the Turkotans need to pay up, like fucking. And then he's like, he said something about blood, or I don't remember what the hell the other thing was. And then he's like, Shao Kahn wants both, and yeah, it's just so cool. And I guess his like bio, I don't know if I still have his bio saved here. Let me go back to.
Yeah, I did not see the bio.
Discord. I think I had it here at one point. Let me check here. It said something about him being, because we know he was with Shao Kahn's whatever order, and it was part of a press release. I'm trying to. Okay, here we go. A new fighter joining the Mortal Kombat franchise, the Kollector was born into poverty and seized his collections duty with a zeal that impressed Shao Kahn, becoming one of the Emperor's most feared associates. As more of a corrupt mafia enforcer than a government official, the Kollector stole riches from Outworld's people, rewarding himself with wealth and status in turn. But when Shao Kahn died, Kotal Khan vowed to weed out the former regime's corruption. After years in hiding, living off his ill-gotten gains, the Kollector was captured and now faces execution, determined to destroy anyone in his path. Like, fucking, like, this dude's out. Yeah, he's just out to fucking get the fuck, live and just collect shit. And, like, I just fucking, this dude's just tight. Like, I'm excited to see what he does in story mode. He's fucking, he has a backpack, and that's one of his gear items. His fucking backpack is like, you can do all sorts of shit.
Is one of the gear items?
Yeah, dude. You can. Derek said that he has like a lot of cool different backpacks. So I'm curious what, like his legendary backpack, I hope is like a treasure chest or something that he holds on.
That'd be awesome.
Dude, that fucking so cool.
What do you think of his second loadout that they showed?
The gear looked all right. I wasn't digging the armor as much. I thought the helmets was very Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin. I don't know. It had this weird kind of vibe to it. I didn't mind it. Like, it doesn't look bad to me. It's just, I like the hood more. I feel like the hood is like that character. I think it just looks really good.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm really, really curious to see what other gear he has, like in skins especially. I want him to have like a robe or something, or not a robe, but you know what I mean? Like something that covers most of his body, makes him look very mysterious, I think would be cool. Stuff like that, I think, would be really, really badass. But yeah, I'm curious.
Even
what
like
else?
Shadow Priest's robe or something would be kind of sick.
Oh, dude,
because,
that would be
he does work for Khan, so maybe he has that like, just hidden in his closet.
That would be so tight. Yeah, just hidden in
He
his closet.
stole one.
Yeah, dude, he's
Who
got it probably in
knows?
his bag. I said in the chat that I hope that his backpack that he has on there, for anybody that plays D&D, so there's these bags that are called bags of holding. They're essentially bags that look like normal size bags, but they lead to like a different like kind of pocket dimension where when you open it up, you can store like a shit ton in a very tiny bag, or not like a tiny bag, but like a sack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hope that's what his bag is actually like, because I feel like not much could fit in that little backpack.
Yeah.
But I hope that it leads to like this own little pocket dimension, just filled with just like all sorts of shit. Like, I think that would be so cool. So that way his arms are like pulling out all these things that he wants.
That's probably like what it is, like some type of magic thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's
Yeah.
magical, so definitely I could see that. Derek also said that the ball and chain thing, that's another gear piece for him. So he said they have ones that are like there's one that's just like filled with eyeballs, like it's just a clear container filled with eyeballs. There's one that's just like a brain with spikes on it. Like there's all sorts of
That's
weird
crazy.
shit, dude. Like I'm excited for fucking all the different like weird shit that they put in here. Man.
Yeah, he's very unique.
Yeah, the character is just really, really. I mean, he's got a lot of the same things that I loved about Devora, but Devora. I've said before that I don't think I can like main Devora just because I'm not a big fan of bugs and they're creepy, but I still had
Mhm.
fun playing her in MKX and I love her design and I love what she does in story and all that. So I'm a big fan of the character and I think she's really unique to Mortal Kombat. But this character, he's like creepy in all the right ways. He doesn't creep me out to look at him. He's just creepy in all of his mannerisms, and he's got the 6 arms and all that's creepy. But it's not like a disgusting creepy. It's
Yeah,
more
it's
of
more like a
a
badass creepy.
yeah.
Like,
It's a good creepy. So
yeah.
I'm excited for this
Um,
character.
I'm glad to see you so optimistic about a character. Finally, it's good. It's a good sign, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm still looking forward to Frost. But at least now I have a a backup plan or
yeah,
a
someone you're hype about.
and even not necessarily a backup plan. I want to learn multiple characters anyways, and he's on my list. Like I played Scarecrow as a secondary in Injustice 2, and he has a little bit of Scarecrow vibes to him. He's got a
Mhm.
couple of his like specials and a couple of his mannerisms, and just an overall body type. He's kind of tall and lanky like that and creepy,
Yeah, he
but
does a few moves that reminded me of it. Like his up two was like a
right,
scarecrow down two, and he had like some sweep thing that looked like kind of like one of the scarecrow's moves, and even like the sound effects on the chain thing kind of reminded me of Scarecrow.
right.
Yeah,
So yeah, he's got that going. Oh, I guess he doesn't pull a ring off his own finger. He pulls it off of like a random arm that he's holding on,
that's
like
even
just a
cooler.
severed arm. He's just let's see if I can get a screen grab here for you. He pulls it off an arm, and then yeah, he has a ledger that he's filling out. Like he fills it out when he gets new things. So he keeps a journal of like everything that he owns. I think that's so cool.
I didn't even notice that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get a screen grab, but yeah, no, I'm really, really, really digging this character. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I like him. I was like impressed by him seeing the trailer. He's not. I don't know why. Like, what's not doing it for me? Like, I do like him.
There you go. By the way,
It's just not. I guess the character type of character that I want to play. I don't know. Like, he has a command grab, so you'd think I want to play him, but something
yeah,
about him, I don't know. Like, it's just he looks very cool though. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just the gameplay. I think I need to see more of before I super get on board with him. Like, he
sure.
looks cool. It's just I feel like I just got too many characters, and I can't get super hype for a new character. Like I like new characters, like I like Kotal and Aaron, but it's just
I can't get super out of new characters,
yeah,
and you played two of them from the last
yeah.
video. That's funny.
I mained Aaron, yeah.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, he's cool. Like I don't know, it was very not what I was expecting from him. I expected
sure.
a lot different. Like he was gonna like crawl all over the place, which I'm glad he didn't. I honestly think this is cooler. It's just maybe the sickle stuff. I don't know. He's just not what I expected. Like not in a bad way. It's just not really my type of character, I guess. But
Sure.
I think he looks good. Like his model looks amazing. The
Yeah, he's
arms are
not for
awesome.
his type is not for everybody by any means.
Yeah. I love how like in his idle pose, like he cracks his knuckles. It's like that's so tight. Like there's a lot of like a lot to love here. It's just I don't know. Not for me, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't
Did
even
you
know
see
how to
that
describe
picture
it. It's
I
just
sent you?
yeah, I did. That's awesome. That
He's
is
holding
really
like a
sick.
bone. It looks like somebody's finger that he's using as a pen. It's creepy.
Oh
Um,
shit, he's doing another thing with like I didn't even notice
yeah,
that.
he's
Yeah.
got he's pulling the ring off of the severed arm, and then he's holding his journal or his ledger or whatever, along with the bone pencil in the other. Yeah,
This
creepy.
makes me want like a Shokan even more in this game so they can like talk shit. Like he's like, yo, you got like 4 arms? It's like I got 6 arms.
He's
It's
like,
like
and then the
that's
other one's like the fucking Shokan's like, yeah, but two of those arms are like baby arms.
yeah, he's
It's
like
like fucking
that is tight. He's also pretty big. Like he's kind of like lanky, but he's a good size.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I'm curious to see his gear as well. I know they said like one of his gear items is called like fucking he has like Moloch's soul or some
Yeah, the
shit.
soul of Moloch.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Moloch continues to get fucked like more and more.
I wonder if
It's
that's like
funny.
maybe his ball and chain. Maybe he has like one that's just like a regular kind of boulder,
Oh, that'd be kind of sick
kind of like
if he
Moloch's
stole that.
boulder or
Yeah.
something like that. I would imagine his lantern is probably the third
So
gear
what are his
piece.
items? The sack, the
His backpack, the thing he holds in his right hand, the like the ball and chain thing,
Mhm.
and then I don't know what his third item is. I don't. They didn't say, but I would assume
Okay.
the lantern. But I could be wrong. I could be
Okay.
wrong.
Yeah, I didn't notice where he holds the lantern. I definitely saw the ball and chain thing, but maybe it's just specific moves he pulls
Yeah, I
out the
think it's only
lantern.
specific moves that he holds, so maybe that's why. Maybe it's not a gear piece. I don't know, but yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah, I'm
else it
glad
would be because it seems like his headpiece goes with his
his
like
gear.
his new skin seems like everything's part of that skin. It doesn't seem like a gear piece, but
Yeah, I would guess that the headpiece isn't a gear item because the hood goes pretty well with the vest and whatnot.
right.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
I'm glad everyone's like digging him so much. Like I saw a huge positive response to him more so than Cetrion, so I was happy about that.
yeah. Which leads us to a question before we move on to noob is in the random select here. What the hell? Apparently, there's been a lot of things in there. I didn't realize so many people posted in there. Okay, so Monopool asks, now that we've seen all three newcomers, who is your favorite and why? Well, I just told you why
Yeah, I feel
Kollector
like
is
you just got
easily
that out of the way.
my favorite over the last like 20 minutes. So he's easily my favorite, most unique and most fitting to Mortal Kombat. Oozing with personality, he's dripping with interesting. I just want to know more about this character and I hope he has a good showing in story mode. I hope he's not a jobber and I look forward to just everything. I hope my only thing that's up in the air is his gameplay. Am I gonna be able to adapt to it? But if it's anything like Scarecrow, I think I can do it. So
Mhm.
what's your favorite new character and why?
Yeah, it's easily Collector. I think it's like not even a question. Like Garrus, like I think gameplay wise, I'm more likely to play him because he fits my style more, and he's like a grappler and shit. So I would definitely play Garrus over Collector, but I don't like Garrus. Like I don't like his fucking design at all. I mean, seems kind of boring. Like his personality is okay, but just overall he didn't do it for me. Cetrion is cool though. I like Cetrion. Like she's pretty cool so far. I like her. You know, her second design with the red eyes, and I like her super. I like her fatality and stuff. Not gameplay wise, she looks boring as shit. I'm probably not gonna play her either or Collector, but Collector overall is like definitely the best character so far. The best new character at least. I would say he's up right there with Kotal and Aaron, like of the X characters as well. For me, like I'd put him as number third out of like all the new characters we got in the past like 4 years. Like
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't be against him coming back. Like
yeah,
I want to see his new design. Like I want to see him already. Like the next,
yeah. What
what they
other?
do with him.
Yeah, true. Yeah, like see what else this character can do in future games and beyond. I think out of all the characters, we don't know, how it goes in story mode, but I feel like this one has a good chance out of the three in this game to come back. I feel like he is going to be the standout.
I think so too, and it
Um,
makes sense. Like considering the other two,
yeah,
I think they
right.
have a due date. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's. I think Cetrion might come back. It depends what her role is in story when all is said and done.
She could even be like a cameo, like considering
Yeah,
she's an
true.
elder god. So
Yeah, yeah. It really just depends. Yeah, what does she do when it's all said and done? And is she one and done? Garrus, I feel like, is the most one and done out of
yeah,
the three, but we don't know where he goes story wise either. Maybe he branches out to kind of become his own person. Not really sure. If there's enough popularity for a character, nothing's off the table. But yeah, I
as
would
we saw with
agree.
this game, like
Yeah, true. I
like
agree.
four,
What were you saying?
no, just four MKX characters came back. So I wouldn't be
Right,
surprised if,
right, yeah.
considering there's only three in this game, like two or so come back for the next game.
But I agree with you that Collector, I would put right up there with Kotal, Erron, and then I don't know how I'd rank them all, but I think those three are the most, and then I'd probably put Devora there as an honorable mention in terms of
Mm.
the most, like, I don't know. I feel like the most popular characters and the most interesting characters. Yeah, and we'll answer more questions here. We got a couple more in the chat before people did a bunch of discussion for some reason. I don't know why that always happens, but regardless. Um, let's see. So let's move on to Noob because he was next up in the. Oh, and his fatality. I thought his before we move on to Collector, his fatality was awesome. I love that he just fucking starts grabbing all their shit and he's just like tearing their body apart, just pulling things off of them, and then collects their head. And I if you pay, it's like you said before, it's hard to like keep up with what's going on. He's basically using his main arms to toss up to his other arms. Like he's just tossing shit up to his other pair of arms as they put him in the bag. Like it's so cool
That's
that
so
they all
awesome.
work in unison. He's just tossing shit up and continually going.
It's like
And
they're different people almost, like
yeah,
with the arms. That's awesome.
so that was very cool. And then his
And then there's
outros
just
are very cool too.
I like the final like slam he does to the body, like just as a big fuck you. Like
Right.
even though they're already dead, he's just like fuck it.
He's like, I've got everything I want. Now it's just trash.
Yeah.
It's just so tight. I just fucking. He's just like going through each piece, determining, ooh, does that look good? I don't know. No, I got one of these already. Like, just fucking pulling shit off. I hope there's some character specific stuff where he's just like jacking somebody's like weapon or something. I don't know. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
All right, well, so I guess we saw two stages shown off here. We had seen bits and pieces of these stages, but like the Nether ship, we saw much more in depth now, and then as well as the what we're calling the Hell stage. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts? I guess let's start with the Nether ship. What are
Yeah,
your
the
thoughts?
nether strip looks like way better in motion and like just in like just as a full view as I thought it would. Like I
Yeah,
only saw like the small clip of it before, but this time it's like it's full on. Like we saw the whole stage pretty much.
yeah,
And it looks so
no,
sick.
it does look really, really good. I don't. I wish there was. You know how they have like alt versions sometimes of stages.
Yeah.
I kind of wish there's like a normal water with a normal kind of I don't know like skyline and everything.
Hmm.
Like as much as I love this, I want that as another option. I think I'd like because some of my favorite stages in the game, I want more time of day settings. So I think this is
Hmm.
kind of a case of I like it so much that I just want a second version of it. So I have even more reason to play it because I think it
Would you
looks
prefer it
really
to
good though.
would you prefer it to be like set at night or like day?
I would take either. I would take one at night with a like a moonlit on the water and stuff, and
Hmm.
kind of like in the MK movie, the original.
Yeah.
So I would take that with like a kind of a bluish wash over everything, and with the stars in the sky and all that shit. I think would look really really good. I would also take a like a normal kind of like maybe a more of a morning with some light fog on the water and stuff with more of a blue sky and everything. I think
Yeah.
that would look really cool and more blue water instead of the blood water. So
That sounds really nice. Yeah.
yeah, so I would like either of those. Honestly, I think those would be really cool. I just think it's a cool concept, and the Nether ship is one that we've been asking for. So give us another version. I think would look even like that would be even better to just double down on that shit. But as it is, I think it looks phenomenal and easily one of my favorite stages in the game. I think it looks really really good.
Yeah. It looks fucking great. And I love how just the waves are so high and like there's
Yeah.
another ship and it just like there's like blood in the water and shit and like oh god, it's all fucked up and oh man, it looks great. I was afraid there was gonna be too much red, but honestly there's not that much because the top of the sky is kind of black too and it's all it
Yeah.
looks like an end game stage. I
Yeah,
like
no,
it.
that looks really, really good. And then connected to that, seemingly is hell or whatever that is, because it's you see the ship in the background. So
Yeah, it's some type of shore or like
yeah, it's got all the blood water in the background. You see the ship in the background. So clearly these are connected in some way. But yeah, man, does this stage look so damn good.
yeah, the thing I like about it like most is just like like you were saying like it's like a day stage. It's like a brightly lit like it's like you can see the sky and there's a sun and fucking
Yeah.
just there's a bunch of shit in the background. There's like platforms with like fucking some type of like flaming like I don't know what to call that. It's like a platform with like I don't know some type of hut or something. It's like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
I
It's
saw
just
what you're talking about. Yeah, there's a
yeah,
plateau up there, like a cliffside, and it has a like a temple or whatever that's kind of
Yeah,
tower thing that's built up on there. I thought that was really that's awesome. I'm glad that's there. Kind of gives a nice little, that Oriental Asian aesthetic, which I think, I want more of that shit in this
yeah,
game.
it's been missing. Yeah.
So seeing that in the background is really tight. And there's so much shit like behind the fighters, like skeletons and fucking. I watched the Max reaction video. He says there's like a dragon back there. Like there's all these
Whoa.
giant scales and shit, and like fucking there's all this stuff back there. I need to watch it more closely, but and there's cliffs in the background, like the big rocks, almost like
Yeah.
in the desert stage. Like there's that kind of and same with the Turcotten stage. So there's that kind of going on in the background too. There's just really good contrast in this stage. I think easily this is a top 3 stage for me. It looks
Oh
so
yeah.
damn good.
It looks so good. I can't wait to play on it. Like more than like any other stage, I'm just like, fuck, this looks so good. Like there might be an abundance of red, but like on the left side of the stage is completely different, where it's like
Yeah,
there's other shit to look at other than just like I'm so glad it doesn't just take place inside of this like cavern thing with like a bunch of red shit. It's like it takes place on the outside where it's like two different stages almost on each side. Like I want
yeah,
to go to more of the left stage because that's what I like more about it.
yeah. I
Yeah, it
wasn't
just
a.
feels like
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it just feels like almost like an MK2 stage to me, kind of like
Yeah,
the
I could see
wasteland
that.
in a
Yeah,
way.
Wasteland. Yeah, I was thinking that. Um, yeah, because I think back to MKX, and I wasn't a big fan of Jinsei Chamber because I felt like whether it was the blue version or the red version, it was just almost like too blue, too red.
Yeah,
Like it
I
was
can
just
see that.
like overwhelmingly so with that much color. But this one, I think between the skyline in the background or the skybox in the background and the color more up close, I think it works out really well, and I don't think it's too red. I feel like it works.
It just works.
It
Yeah,
just works.
yeah, it looks really good.
I wonder if these aren't hell, and if this is just something that happens in story where like the seas turn red and shit like blood,
Hmm.
and because I almost get like maybe this is somehow connected to Shang Tsung's island vibe going on
Yeah,
here, especially with the Nether ship and all that, like with that in mind. Yeah, because even in like I have a here I should take a quick screen cap of this. I still have the combat cast pulled up, and I noticed in the back of the Shang Tsung's island when Noob's fighting Scorpion, you kind of see that tower way way back in the distance. Let me send this to you here. That same kind of, it could just be coincidence, but they're up at the top, way off in
interesting.
like
Yeah, I
the
can see
silhouette
that.
of it. You can see a tower up on like a cliffside. So it's would not surprise me if this is somehow, it's not hell in the sense that it's just somehow connected to Shang Tsung's island and
Well, I
hence
mean, they
the
get
nether
there
ships
from
and
the
stuff.
Nether ship, which
Yeah.
is probably on Shang's island. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good theory, I think. And also, like, even in the cutscene, we saw like the Chronica Jacks on the ship, which we saw in Goro's lair
Right.
fighting regular Jacks, which was
It's
also
true.
on Shang's island. So
Yeah.
maybe they do go there from here. Some, yeah, it seems like the Nether ship is also connected to this stage because you see the Nether ship or some type of ships in the background
True.
that
Yeah.
like washed up or whatever. So yeah, I wonder what it is. It doesn't seem like hell to me because of how bright it is, but it seems like some shit that went
Yeah.
down here or
Something's going
something.
down in story mode that leads to that. So, yeah.
I think in an intro they do talk about like a sea of blood or something.
Right.
So
Yeah, I do recall that as well. People thought that was like a Shaolin monks callback, but yeah, it's clearly happening in this game.
yeah,
So, yeah. So, man, these stages look so good. Easy top 5 in this game.
oh yeah.
And this game
I'm
has
just yeah.
a few stages that look really good, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the stage variety overall. Like this game, I really wanted more stages, and they delivered on that. And there's so much like variety in the stages, like we saw with the concept art from Chronica stage as well. That looks so unique
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the stages. I feel like there's so many stages they won't get as stale as they did in like X, where you're playing on these same bland stages over and over. You got sick of them really fast. So this game, it's like there's so much variety. I feel
Yeah.
like you're not gonna see as many stages as often, so you won't get as bored of them like as quickly. I'm very happy with the stages so far.
I I don't remember if it was you or somebody else that said the Chronica stage looked like it might be like it has its own pit,
Yeah, I
like be
mentioned
the
like
new
it
pit
kind
or
of
something.
yeah, it gave me some pit vibes. I think
I that would be badass because imagine like the stage fatal is like it's a pit, so you get knocked off, You could uppercut it off or whatever. You fly off, and as you're falling, the character just sees its whole life flash before its eyes, and it gets erased from existence. Like, it's just fucking.
Yeah.
That would be so tight. I don't know how they would visually animate that if they just like dissipate into sand as they're falling, and like you have some sort of flashback to them as a baby being birthed, and all of a sudden they're gone. I don't know. There's just ideas in my mind where I'm just like, this would be tight, dude. It's just like fucking a unique pit where it just you're just endlessly falling and you get erased. That would be tight.
That'd be kind of sick. I would be down for that.
We're way overdue for a new pit.
Oh yeah, like it's been MK3. We
Yeah.
haven't gotten a pit since that, and this one looks pretty good. If this is the pit 4, whatever they call it, I doubt they'll call it that.
They probably
But-
won't call it that. Yeah, it'll be like Kronika's lair or whatever. Kronika's
Yeah.
keep, something like that.
There also was like I don't know. I don't think it'll be a stage, but there's like that Game Informer. I don't know if you saw it, but it's like Chronica in the background, Raiden on it. That
Yeah.
place looked kind of cool. I don't know what that was, but
Yeah,
it's just background. But I liked it.
yeah. Man, the stages in this game look really, really good. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the rest are, like the 4 stages or however many are left.
Yep. I'm pulling for another couple of classic stages. I know we're both in the Warrior Shrine camp of wanting that for sure. I would love the Throne Room because I still just love
Yeah.
that stage. That's still one of my favorite stages of all time from a visual aesthetic. I would also, I mean, something from like MK2, MK3 would be kind of cool just to add some variety as well. But
Also, the throne room with Shang in the game, it'd be like a waste not to do that, honestly.
that's true too. That would be
Like,
really
it's-
cool.
It's classic old Shang, put him in the fucking stage.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to Noob. So Noob, I mean, I feel like we got a really good vibe of Noob in his trailer. Like, I didn't think there
Yeah.
was a whole lot more to be revealed with Noob. He's very much like MK9. He's still a zoner for the most part. He doesn't have a whole lot of normals and normal chains for it. I think they said he has 7 combos, like combo
Yeah.
strings, which is the lowest in the game, I believe they said. And he has mainly just special moves. He's a special move character, which makes sense for, what we knew from him in MK9. So it looks like they kind of continued that. And he has a lot of his same specials there. We didn't even see the portals in this breakdown. It must not have been part of those 2 variations they had set up, but we did see it in the trailer. So there is some portal action going on
Yeah.
a little bit. But yeah, I mean, his other attire, what did you think of his other attire?
His other attire looked good. I don't like the helmet thing he's wearing because you can like see his head. He looks kind of bald, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks very weird, but the rest of it is kind of what I wanted more of Noob, like just classic, kind of slim, not baggy, and I don't know. It looks good to me overall. I'd maybe change the helmet to like one of those ones that we saw, like the night-looking one, but other than that, I like the alternate design.
I gotcha. Yeah. What did you think about his gameplay?
Yeah, gameplay wise, like he's more of the same from MK9. He doesn't like look like a character I want to play at all, even less from the trailer. Like I don't know, like he also like his teleport, his meter burn teleport doesn't seem like you can even launch off it anymore, so that makes him even less of a combo character than I thought he would be. Like from the trailer it looked like he could, combo off a bunch of shit, but it's really just like the clone thing that they showed in his second loadout. So I don't know, he doesn't look very interesting to me. Like he wasn't a character I wanted to play in 9, and this game especially, I don't want to play him at all.
Yeah,
but-
I feel like that's
Go on.
kind of the case. Like, I'm noticing the people that are really into Noob and really loved him in 9, both from like a design and gameplay standpoint. And he's probably one of their favorite characters, if not their favorite character. If he's like a top 3 favorite character of yours, you're probably gonna love everything about him in this game. I feel like that is the case that I'm seeing because I've seen people in the Discord just really just like are all about it and think he's like the best thing in this game. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't say that
Yeah.
like that's an issue. I just think what I'm noticing is you're either all for it or there's just some like kind of like you and I seem to be the most just kind of like he's there. I mean, he's Noob, he's cool, he's doing his Noob thing, but it's not really for us as much.
No.
So, I mean, like I said, we're not really knocking the character. It's just more of a, different strokes for different folks. And I think ultimately we think he looks cool. It's just nothing that's really going above and beyond for us that is making us feel compelled to play this character as much as some of the other characters are doing.
Yeah, in order for me to play Noob, I think they needed to like kind of reinvent him and kind of have like a rushdown variation where I can really like do my thing with Noob in a rushdown fashion instead of zoning because that's what I like to do. I like to play rushdown, and I always wanted Noob to have like a command grab. That's just something I always envisioned him as, kind of like having like a grappler where he could like pull a clone up and like have the clone like hold them while he get some jabs in. Like I don't know,
Sure.
some shit like that. It's not what I wanted out of the character, which he's not my favorite character, so it doesn't really matter. It's just like
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish they did more with him, like overall, instead of kind of focusing more on the MK9 stuff. Like I do like Noob a lot as a character. It's just I don't know. It was kind of he is really underwhelming to me. Like
Yeah,
gameplay
I mean, I'm
wise.
in the same boat. Like, I like Noob as a character. You know, he's easily top 20 for me, somewhere in there. Maybe even top 15, maybe even top 10. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But yeah, I mean, I like the character. It's just, I guess it's just not. Yeah, I mean, I feel like some of the other characters, most of the other characters really in this game, have just really wowed me, like more than I expected. And they've done certain things with these characters that just their gameplay and design have never been better. And
Hmm.
they have such interesting gameplay that just looks like a lot of fun to play. Whereas I feel like Noob, you're playing MK9 Noob, and you're kind of you're doing the same, try and zone people out type of thing. Which if that's your style, then that's your style. But yeah, I know I'm in the same boat. He didn't wow me. He didn't. He's just kind of there, and I. It's not a bad thing. Like I said, if you're into that, and which a lot of people are, so good for you. If you're a fan of him, it seems like you're very happy, and that's all that I could ask for. I definitely don't think he should be catered to me or you. It's all
Yeah,
about the people
exactly.
that are really in love with that character that I think should be catered to, and I think
Hmm.
you guys are that are out there. A lot of you, the most seem like the overwhelming majority love Noob in this game. So yeah, I think we're the outliers here, where it just kind of he didn't do so much for us. So just to make that clear, that we're not shitting on his design or his gameplay or anything. It's just more of a just doesn't. It's not our bag, so to speak. It's not what we
Hmm.
find the most interesting here, and yeah. So I mean, just it is really odd to me that cause it's not that I wanted to be underwhelmed by Noob. I just feel like
No.
because I in my mind I thought he would be probably the hypest because in his MK9 trailer, I thought that was like the coolest trailer for that game. I thought his
Yeah.
trailer was badass. Whereas this time it just like yeah, it's just kind of like Noob 1.5. It's just kind of more of the same. It's like Iron Man 2 to me. If I could
Yeah.
give
That's
it
a
the
good
best
analogy.
analogy is Iron Man 2 wasn't a bad movie. It just kind of felt like more of the same, and it just kind of didn't really do anything different, so to speak. It's just kind of
Yeah.
it's just more of it was more of what you love. But if it's like for those we're really looking to be, like a whole new generation of Noob and do these crazy things like how much Baraka's been revamped, or Jax, or some of these other characters that have just
Raiden.
gotten
Yeah.
Raiden, Liu Kang, Kung Lao. I mean, so many Jackie. I mean, Jackie's like a completely new character. There's just so many characters like that I feel like just they really knocked out of the park. I just feel like Noob, I feel like they played it more safe, which I don't mean that as like an insult. I just feel like they kind of stuck to what he was before, and that's perfect. I mean, now he has a sickle, and
Sickle's tight.
yeah, sickle is tight,
Yeah.
and he looks good. But yeah, it's just kind of out of the out of the last several characters that we've seen. I feel like he's kind of the one that's impressed me the least. I guess is kind of.
Oh yeah. By
But yeah,
far.
not shitting on him, just kind of not our thing as much. But regardless, I thought his second outfit looks better than the first one. I like the raggediness of his original attire, but
Hmm.
I'm looking more for that, a little bit more for that original kind of ninja attire as well. I think his second attire could really use a hood, not a
Yeah, I
hat.
agree.
Not a hat, just to be clear.
Yeah.
I'm looking more for like a hood, like an MK9. I still think his MK9 attire is cooler than both of these attires that we've seen. That's just
Oh
kind of
yeah.
where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, there's gonna be way more skins and gear, I'm sure, in this game. So I have no doubt that there's probably gonna be one that I think is really badass. So
Yeah, I'm excited just to unlock the gear anyways, even if I'm not gonna play him. Like I want to see, what he has available because
yeah,
I hope he has some deception shit or
Sure.
whatever. Like maybe we'll like him more once we get access to his full move set. Maybe he's got some of that stuff we're looking for in the character. Maybe they just played it safe and showed us the regular stuff, which I don't think that'll be the case. But maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
the custom moves have different characters have different varying amounts of custom moves. So who knows how many Noob has? And they only did show us two variations again for each character. So
Sure.
yeah.
But yeah, all right. Moving on from Noob. I mean, did you have anything else to add? I mean, he had his ghost ball back, and I thought that was cool. It kind of
Oh
takes
yeah, that
away
is
his
yeah.
one of his attack meters, one of his defense meters. I thought that was
I like that.
interesting. It
That's
prevents
very
the opponent from doing a breakaways. That's pretty useful.
yeah. That's like pretty cool. That's like some KI shit where it just like steals your meter and
Yeah.
that's very cool. And it looks like it. I don't know if it restands or not. Maybe that's like a good way to end combos is just with the ghost ball. It has pretty high startup, but it looks like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe off certain strings it connects.
Hmm.
But that was one thing I did like was the ghost ball.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I thought that was cool. And his fatality is still really tight. So I do like that
Oh yeah.
fatality a lot. Definitely one of the better ones in the game. And yeah, so let's move on to Erron Black. I know you were really looking forward to this character's breakdown and seeing more what this character had to offer and if they're going to stick with his, MKX stuff or revamp it completely like they've done with certain characters. So go
Mhm.
ahead and lead the way. What do you think of Erron Black?
Yeah, Aaron for me, I mained the character next, so I did have pretty high expectations for him in this game. I expected them to do less than what they did, I guess. I was very like blown away at like what they did with him because I don't know, like I expected them to like bring back some MKX stuff, but I didn't expect them to bring back the stuff I wanted them to.
Yeah.
So when I saw, the forward four, which was like one of my favorite moves from him, when I saw the command grab, when I saw the 2-1-1-2-2 back, but it's like revamped, it's like it's not the same string, but you can still like do tick throws and shit off it. I was so happy because those were like the three things I really loved about the character. And it was like they were like just catering to me and they're just like, hey, you want this shit? It's like you get it all back. And then have some like extra cool ass shit. And oh man, he just looks amazing. Like aesthetically and just visually and just gameplay wise, like his design I was very like critical of before. Like before we saw it in the render and I thought it looked kind of shitty. And then the trailer didn't look that good. But in gameplay it really like looks so good.
Yeah, I think so
And
too.
yeah, it transitions or it translates so much better through gameplay than it does in the render. And God, he looks good. Like I love that he uses dynamite now, and I love that
Dude, his
he
throw's so tight. He fucking
yeah
stomps on his opponent's foot, and then while they're like doing, it's such a fucking like it's Looney Tunes. It's like Bugs Bunny shit, and it's or Tom and Jerry. It's all that shit.
yeah
And he stomps on their foot. They start like reaching for their foot, like ow ow ow. And he's just like he lights dynamite, tosses it over. Then they do like the fumble, like they can't like grab a
yeah
hold of
like
it, and they're like,
catching
"What
it
the fuck am
yeah
I doing here?" And then when it blows up, his hat goes flying, and then he grabs it really quickly and puts it back on. Like that is easily one of the best throws, if not the best throw in the game. It's so tight.
no yeah that's got to have a brutality. Like if that doesn't have a brutality, then
Yeah.
like man yeah
I want to see the brutality where they just go like all black, but then their eyes are still showing, like in the fucking cartoons, dude. Their hair is just like blown off, and they do a couple winks, and they just pass out because they're dead.
yeah
That'd be tight, dude. Fucking, or they're just like I don't know, man. They're just fucking like half their body's blown off, and then their legs just slowly fall over. I don't know. There could
was
be
that
some
thing
fun stuff there.
like they put up like a sign or some shit
Yeah, but like a
like
fucking Daffy Duck sign. It's just like,
yeah
yeah, fucking some good shit, dude. Yeah, no,
yeah
he looks really really good, and I think you put it really well. Is that they kind of brought back everything you wanted that was great about this character, but they trimmed the fat. Like they got rid of the sand grenades, kind of the weird shit that wasn't really working for him as
hmm
much. Like I like the concept of the sand grenades, but the execution just never seemed. It was one of the weaker points about the character,
yeah
and they got rid of that. Whereas now he just does a lot of cool shit, and he's got a lot. His animations are fantastic,
oh they're way better.
just
They're
way
way
better.
better.
And yeah, I love a lot of what he has to offer. I love the
He's
walk
very
down with
flashy.
his yeah, oh yeah, no kidding. Like his combos, he's got a lot of good gunplay and fanning a hammer and shit. And yeah, I like the stance or whatever where he can fucking shoot like the opponent's knife throw. Like I want to see that with all the other projectiles. I feel like a fireball is probably not going to fall onto the ground or anything, but
I
like
would guess it would like explode maybe,
yeah, just
like
kind
or
of
something.
disintegrate or whatever. But yeah, he can like shoot Kano's knives out of the air and they actually fall to the ground and like bounce off the ground and stuff and lay there for a few
Yeah,
seconds. Like I think that's badass. Such a cool idea is just to shoot a weapon out of the air like a
shoot
projectile.
a projectile. Yeah.
Like Katana's fans and shit, I'm sure. Like just so many cool things about that.
Also paints him as more of like a sharpshooter because he's able to like just shoot this fast ass projectile out of the way. Like
Yeah,
that's really sick.
yeah, he seems like a lot of fun and he's got some cool shit, like I said, and
It's got very unique mechanics like the rifle reload. Like you actually have to manually reload his rifle now. You can't just like keep shooting. It's like you have to count like how many shots you take. So you have 8 shots and then you can choose to reload like 1 shot or like 3 shots or
yeah,
however many they said. And it does take a while. So I think the meta is gonna be like 1 or 2 shots, at most before you
yeah,
keep continue shooting. And it's like you can like juggle off the shots now from full screen. Like you can just keep shooting them over and over. Like
right.
that seems interesting to me. I don't know. It's like they call them like a thinking man zoner, which I completely agreed with. It's like it's not like
It's
people
not
like were
brain dead.
making
Yeah.
yeah, like people were making like Deadshot comparisons. But I'm like, I don't see Deadshot in this character at all. Like
No, no, no. Like this
you're
character
not gonna be able
seems
to just like you're not gonna be able to just do fucking back forward one all day. You have to think about, how many shots do I want? Like how many shots do I have? When do I, reload and shit? And
I feel like
oh dude,
he's
it's
going to be
so
very
tight.
honest. Like from what
Yeah.
I've seen out of a usual typical zoner like Cetrion and Noob and Scarlet, like those three characters I feel like are going to be what from what we've seen premier zoners that are really going to be frustrating to fight against. Whereas Aaron, I feel like he's not brain dead. He's not like gonna be. You're not gonna feel like, oh my god, this fucking character is so annoying to go up against because I can't get in. Like I feel like you're gonna. It's not gonna be that easy, and I think
And that's not all that he has access to either. It's like he has mix and he has command throw and he has fucking good strings and shit that he can
yeah,
use. He's not like completely like reliant on zoning, which I'm so happy they went with because I was kind of worried about that. I was kind of worried that they go like a full zoning rifle, outlook on him, but no, they didn't. They gave him, what made the character shine in X, but they made it better. They made it less dumb. Like I
yeah,
saw, people. I saw. Sorry, I just saw like people complaining about like, oh, like maybe he'll be like too dumb because he still has the 50/50s and stuff, but you still have to commit to the 50/50 now. Whereas in X, you had like a plus on block launcher you could go into. Now he literally just has the slide or the overhead.
and they said the
So
slide's unsafe. So
yeah, the slide's unsafe. Yeah,
yep.
so it's not even that bad.
Yeah, and I really like some of his other gimmicks that he has. The caltrops have been replaced by Reptile's acid, which I think is just cool. Like
Yeah,
he's got a little vial of Reptile's acid. I just love the idea of Reptile just like spewing into a bunch of vials for him. Like that's so tight. So that's cool to think about, and I like the effects of it. It's like glowing green. I think it's very vibrant. It even glows off the opponent's character when they're standing over it. Like it
oh wow.
glows on their legs and their chest and everything. Like it's actually looks really good in game. Um, I think that's, as I said to you before, I think that's more of like probably a visual thing, just so you can clearly see that thing is on the ground or whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah, Let's see if I can get a
it's the
screenshot
same
here.
function as like the caltrops, but it's still like it. Especially with how dark stages are in this game, it makes sense to go with like something
Yeah, here I'll send
really
you the
bright.
screen cap I have of that.
Yeah, that's super bright. Holy shit. And yeah, you can see like the lighting of it
Yeah, on
on.
Kano or whatever there. But yeah, so that's really cool. I like that as a gimmick, and he's got the bear not the bear trap, the nether beast trap that he creates, and then like the opponent, if he steps on it, it's a trap, or he can even kick it over towards his opponent, which I think is cool.
I think it's a low. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff there. So he seems like just a lot of fun in general. He doesn't seem to have much of the coin tricks, but that could be other specials that we just didn't see. They only showed off 2 variations worth of specials, so he could still have a lot more that we didn't even.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to have a few other things in his arsenal that we just haven't seen. But
Yeah.
overall, like so far, like the first loadout, I would be completely fine with using that. Like it has the command throw and it has the like the low shot. That's not actually a low. It's more of just like something to go into to be safe off of like
Right.
pressure and shit, which is super awesome. Like I'd totally take that. And I love the animation. He just draws back and fucking shoots at their feet. Like it's super cool. The only thing I do kind of wish he had. It seems like he doesn't have any launchers, which is kind of worrying. Like I don't know if they didn't go over all the strings or anything, but maybe that's just not the purpose of the character. It's just I hope he does have some type of combo potential.
Sure.
Um, or maybe that's tied into crushing blows. Maybe like a punish, he gets a launcher or something off of some of his things. That's really all I got like worrisome. And also, I do wish he had more options out of the stance. That he has the quick draw stance. I kind of wish it was more like a gunslinger stance where he has like four options out of it that he can do.
Yeah.
But again, that could be more ability stuff. We don't know.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, just
appreciate that, like for his gun stance or not the stance or whatever, when he's doing the rifle shot or whatever, he walks towards his opponent, so you can't just
yeah,
continually try and zone your opponent out and walk away. Like he's actually actively walking towards his opponent, and you can cancel out of it, or you can take shots where he stands there. So you got to kind of actually actively do something. Otherwise, you can't just stand there and wait. You got to kind of
no.
choose it. You got to be strategic. So
Yeah. You can't just sit there in the zone. It's like you have to be active in some way. And I think he can like attack him with the butt of the rifle or whatever
yeah,
as well. It's very interesting how they designed him. Like it's like half MKX and just half new shit. It's so cool.
yeah,
And they reinvented him in some ways, like with the acid. They take the same concept but make it different.
yeah.
I
And
also
he on his slide he can amplify it, and it automatically throws an acid down, which I think is cool.
Oh, that's what happens with the EX slide.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's EX slides. He goes underneath, like they flip up into the air or whatever, and then he just quickly tosses a vial up into the air and crashes down right on him.
That's so sick.
So
That's broke.
that's a cool
Like
setup.
yeah. I like that more than the EX slide. Yeah, I was just gonna say, just animation wise, he's so much better. Like, I love his slide way more in this game because like he kind of like ducks down and he doesn't like completely like just put his body on the floor. He kind of like slides on his like ass, but he puts his foot out instead, so like he could
Yeah,
block it.
he does more of
He's
like a
like,
baseball slide rather than a
yeah,
fucking weird
dive.
like a Batman slide thing like
Yeah,
from versus DC or whatever.
yeah,
Injustice one I remember, but yeah, that weird like double leg kind of like drop kick slide looking thing.
yeah. I never liked the look of that. And like they said on the combat cast too, he's not doing like kung fu and shit. He's doing like hammer fists and shit. Like
Yeah, he's doing very
he's a
brawly
brawler.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
which I'm
saloon
very happy
brawl.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he looks great. I thought he looked like a lot of fun and very fantastic. So I was impressed by the character once again. I think they made a lot of good choices with what to replace, what to give him new, and I mean we only saw I feel like probably half of his specials, if that. Like there's probably so much more there too. And we don't know what the actual default variations are going to be, so there might be even more stuff that are built into the default variations. There might be, from custom standpoint, there might be way more stuff to kind of work with the character. But yeah, just from what we did see, I thought he looked absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so happy with how they designed him overall. Like, I was kind of worried with what they do. Like, I didn't want him to be so redesigned like Cassie Cage, but he's not as like similar to X like Codal is, but he's like such a good middle ground where
Yeah,
I'm glad he got some of the new shit that he did, and I'm super glad that they kept what I wanted them to keep. So it's cool that they have like the same vision of the character,
right.
the moves that I wanted them to bring back that they did. So yeah, I'm super glad with. I'm just happy overall with the character. Like he's awesome. So
Cool.
definitely one I'm trying like day one for sure.
Yeah, no, I think he looks really, really good. All right, well, that's Erron Black, and yeah, so let's move on to some questions here. We had a couple more questions. So, Gug asked, "This isn't about the combat cast, but do you think there's a 25th character we haven't seen yet? I'm pretty sure Shao was deconfirmed as the 25th, but I'm not sure. So, really, just is there going to be more characters than what we assume are the base roster?" I that's a good question. There's rumors out there for unlockables, couple unlockables on top of the 25 in general to bring it up to like 27, maybe even 28, maybe even
Mm-hmm.
29 if you buy into the roster thing, the
On the
roster page,
website,
yeah, on the website.
yeah.
So I think Downfor and I are both in kind of the same boat where we've seen the alleged leaks, we've seen the alleged rumors from sources that have had credible information for the most part. And I always side on, at least now, I'm siding on, or I am erring on the side of caution. And that is, I'm going to assume and I'm going to only expect 25 because that's what we've been told multiple times. We've been told by Ed Boon 2 times now, both at C2E2 and during his quick interview with the rapid fire questions with Game Informer. We've seen 25 characters on the. I mean, we've seen 25 select screen slots since we first saw the select screen. That has not changed. And yeah, I feel like the safe bet is just to think 25. So if I was a betting man, I don't know where I wouldn't bet on this. First of all, I feel like that's a mistake. Django can tell you about that one. We did that with MKX, but no, I just.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in thinking there's 25, and if there's more, cool. Hey, awesome. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to. Because the leaks and stuff like that, for the most part, have been very accurate with what we learned about before. There's been several things that have turned out to be true. So, I don't see any reason why that wouldn't come out to be true too. But at the same time, you never know. And like I said, I'd rather expect less and be surprised by more than expect more and then be disappointed by less. So
exactly.
So that's where we're at is... Could there be more than 25? Absolutely. There could absolutely be more than 25. But I'm going to go in thinking there's 25 until shown otherwise. So.
Yeah, and you got to keep in mind, like, the game's probably going to leak in, like, a week and a half.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll all know by that point, so.
It'll be known.
It's also easier for me because I feel like even if there is a couple more characters on that 25 roster to bring us up to 28, from everything I'm hearing, it's not a character that I'm going to play. So it's not a character that I personally feel very invested in. So yeah, so at that end, I hope they're in. I hope there's more characters just to save DLC slots more than anything. Yeah, so. Anyways, Frumblefoot. Who do you think will have the best customization options out of the 3 shown today? What do you think?
Oh, that's difficult. I don't know.
That's probably a personal taste thing, but I guess he is asking us.
Of the 3, I'd probably just say Erron Black, because I think they're going to do some cool shit with, like, his dusters and ponchos and shit and hats and whatnot. I hope he has a good arsenal of, just shit to wear. And yeah, I want a poncho or a suit or something.
Sure.
Along those lines. But
I'd probably go Kollector first, Erron Black second, Noob third. But yeah, it's definitely a personal thing because you're gonna obviously be more interested in Erron Black stuff because you plan on playing Erron Black.
Yeah.
And I'm more interested in Kollector stuff because I'm gonna hopefully play him if everything turns out well.
I'm more intrigued by Kollector's gear, like what he's gonna have overall. Yeah.
And I put Noob last only not because I don't like. I'm still curious what else like Noob has, but I only put his third because it's all black on black on black. You know what I mean? Like it's all the same. I don't know. Like I feel like there's going to be less variation there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of his stuff's going to be more similar. It's going to be ninja mask, ninja, hood or no hood, and then various, does he have the V or not? And stuff like that. So I feel like his is the least interesting to me, but I'm still curious what he does have.
Yeah, same. And shaders too. I'm kind of curious what he'll have shader wise. Like if he'll
just a bright pink shade.
So weird. Yeah.
Okay, so Chuckles asks, how do you guys feel about retroactive lore? As we've seen with characters like Kodal, Devora, and now Kollector, I think it's cool personally, really fleshes out the core era of the series without really breaking any established story beats. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I'm not a big lore guy, but if you can establish the characters as being there and I don't like the idea this character just came out of nowhere all of a sudden and never did anything important until this moment when they were needed for the story. Like That to me,
Mhm.
I feel like is lazy writing. I like to think, what was this character doing? Did they interact with any other characters over years past and we just didn't get it spotlighted or focused on? I mean, that's everybody's exists, They weren't just born yesterday, so it's like, did these characters interact? And yeah, so I like that because it's like you're establishing these characters as having relationships with pre-existing characters that we know and love already, and your natural thought is going to be, well, where were they during the tournament, or why weren't they here or there? Or why are we just being introduced to them now? In real life setting, it's because they just created the character, but from a lore setting, I'm curious how they write those characters in, and so far, I really like what they did for the collector.
Yeah, Collector's pretty good. Kodal, I didn't like that little thing they said on the combat cast where he was like locked up in the flesh pits and experimented on shit. That was kind of dumb to me. I prefer the comic where he was like his realm was taken over by Shao Kahn or
Sure.
whatnot. But Collector's seems good to me.
I don't
Uh,
even remember what Devora's was. I think she was with Kodal, and before that she was with. I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't remember what her thing was
He like
exactly.
fights Raiden at some point in X and shit. It was kind of dumb.
Oh yeah, I guess they flashed back, and yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I'm okay with this. Like you have to include the characters some way. Uh, if that's just through like some text, I'd prefer that. Like
Yeah,
getting some cutscenes for it would be nice, but I don't expect that. I expect them to just be there and you learn shit through bios or whatever.
but yeah, I mean that's pretty standard to
Yeah.
come up with what these characters have been doing prior and all that. I mean, Kenshi had a backstory with like Shang Tsung and stuff. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
they've
it's like
done
they
that.
put Boracho and had him fucking train Liu Kang and come
Yeah, I
out
mean,
and
yeah,
all that.
this is all
Pretty
kind
cool.
of this is pretty much what they do for most characters. I feel like, unless
Yeah.
they're really just being introduced to this whole thing, I guess. Randy asks, "Will you play custom variation player matches now that stat boosting augments have been confirmed to be for single player only?" We kind of already talked
Yeah.
about that. So yeah, I feel like we've already answered that. Keela Clutch, Keela Clutch, or Kayla Clutch. Do you believe that these new characters are really original or just copies of other characters just to flesh out more casual audience and tournament scene?
I don't really understand that.
Do you believe that these new characters are really original or just copies of other characters just to flesh out more casual audience and tournament scene? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. I don't feel like they're copies. Like, Garrus doesn't feel like any character we currently have, other than, some move stealing, but move stealing's always been a part of this series since the
Yeah.
very beginning. Literally the very first game. So, I mean, move stealing is a thing. So, other than that, though, Garrus feels pretty unique. Kollector definitely feels unique.
Yeah, Collector is like no one else.
And Cetrion feels plenty unique. What other character uses all the elements and is an elder god in that regard? I mean, obviously
Mhm.
Shinnok and stuff, but yeah, she feels very different. So yeah, I feel like they're all original. I don't feel like they're copies of other characters.
Yeah, gameplay wise, they might take some elements from like other
Sure.
characters, but I don't feel like they're copies at all. They're pretty like on their own. Yeah.
And I think that's where the questions end, because then it just gets into discussion about the retroactive lore. Um,
Of course, Laura would be the one to
yeah.
discuss
Razor's
it.
like, you rang. And then Rain Reptile just put in a question just now, actually. He says, question for Cyborg. What is it about Kollector that draws you to him? Do you think you found your main? Well, hopefully you enjoyed the first 20 minutes. Well, not the
Yeah.
first 20 minutes, but the 20 minutes I kind of went on a gushing rant there about how much I loved about him. Yeah. I mean, just so many things. I love unique characters. To sum it up once again, I love unique characters that have not been tackled in the series. I think that was my biggest disappointment with the combat kids, is I felt like, they kind of all serve similar purposes as being an offspring. So I'm more into, new ground, new races, new archetypes, as I've talked about. Like, I want an alchemist. I want to give us a knight, give us that kind of shit. A samurai, I want all these kind of cool things to come and exist to this series, and not just another ninja or another sorcerer or another soldier, that type of stuff. Give us unique things that we haven't necessarily got already. And I think Collector is that to a T. So that's what really fascinates me about him. Plus, in like D&D and Pathfinder and stuff, like role-playing games, I really like playing very eccentric characters. Like in my current campaign, I play like a little gnome who's a investigator, and he does like mind stuff. Like he's very intelligent and he's very eccentric. He has blue hair and blue fur all over him. He's just really weird and obnoxious, and he has a pipe, and he does things like takes his clothes off and lights himself. He covers himself in oil so he's hard to catch. He runs across town square, and then I will light my pipe when I'm covered in oil, and then I'll have to make a check to make sure I don't light myself on fire. That type of stuff. So I like playing characters that are very out there and are very weird, like goblins and cool stuff like that. So I think that's really fun. So that's the vibe I get from this character. Is I feel like this is a character that I would play in a role-playing game, because he just is oozing with so much charisma, and there's so much intrigue that I like, mystique to him, that I want to find out more about him. Even like when we first saw that select screen picture that was leaked out to the public, and Collector was on that, I said out of all the like portraits, he really intrigued me the most. I was already intrigued way back then. If you go back and listen to that episode on the Nethercast when we talked about that whole breakdown of going over all those select screen portraits, he was the one that I kind of was most excited to see more of, and they did even more than I expected. So that's kind of what draws me to him. And do I think I found my main? Like I said, I'm still on the Frost bandwagon. If she turns out really well and her gameplay's there and her design's there, I am still going to probably go Frost. But if she underwhelms me or frustrates me or irritates me with the direction they take with her, whatever, like she doesn't work out, then I'll probably go Collector. But it really depends on his gameplay. If I'm not having fun with him, I'm not going to force it, but I'm at least going to give him a shot.
Good shit.
Like he's above Lou and he's above Johnny Cage for me in terms of the ones I was considering. But like I said, I want to learn multiple characters ultimately. So
you think he'll be above Katana once you see her, or do you think?
That's tough to say, because I've been saying for a while that I don't want to main Katana again, just from purely like I've mained her for the last 4 years or whatever, that I played so many matches with her and so many hours with her that I don't necessarily want to do that all again.
Mm-hmm.
But if she really wows me and impresses me and she looks like a lot of fun, I might pick her back up and try her again. But this is a new character, so like he's fresh, he's new, and it's a new experience. So I would probably put him above Katana. I would try him to have fun with him before I tried to have fun with Katana, I would say.
So day one, if you don't see Frost yet, day one, do you try Collector first or Frost first?
Depends. If you don't have to unlock her for story or anything, like she's not saved as like a surprise unlockable whatever, if she's on their base roster day one and I can just play out of the gate with her, I try Frost first and look at all of her shit and see if I'm happy, and see, try all the different things and whatnot. And then Collector would be a second.
Okay, that's fair.
Because Frost was my number one, wish list. I feel like it'd be almost like a shame if I just didn't even try her. I'm still going to try and make her work. But yeah, Collector really has my interest. I feel like there's no scenario where I don't try the Collector. He might be the Scarecrow to my Poison Ivy, just like, in this game. He could be a secondary for me. Who knows? Okay. Primary, main, secondary, we'll see. Or maybe I don't like him at all. We'll see. But
there's all those possibilities.
Yeah, you never know till you try him. But thanks for the question. Do you have anything else you want to talk about or cover?
Cast wise, I don't think so. We kind of covered it all for the most part. We're getting Devora next week.
Yeah, we're getting Devora next week, and we're getting 2 others. So we know we're getting 3. You had predicted that maybe we're getting an all-female one next time.
Yeah,
some people have said that too.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna be Devora, Cetrion, and Katana, because I just like the running theory is that they're not going to show Frost right now. And they did say they're not going to show any. They're not going to show every single character on the cast. Yeah. They're going to save some for secrets, but it's like the game's gonna leak anyway. I don't know why they do that.
And Frost is
But
already out there. Everybody knows Frost is in this
yeah,
game. She's on the achievements, just spelled
he
out
was
on
in
the
the
achievements,
trailer.
the trophies or whatever.
Mhm.
In the trailer, very, hidden or whatever. She was on the select screen of the leak or whatever. So she's out there. So I don't think anybody's surprised by that now. At least that's been following along even remotely. But yeah, so maybe they just want to save her design as a surprise. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I
Very
don't
strange.
expect her next week. I would love for her to be on there with like Devora and Katana because that would probably be my favorite combat cast because I think I have interest in all three of those characters. I may not
Yeah,
play
that's true.
Devora, but I'm still a Devora fan, so I'm still curious what they're doing with her because there's so much like hype built around her from internally, like from them NRS devs that they all seem to be really proud with what she's doing.
Mhm.
So yeah,
They
I'm
seem to
curious.
really like that fucking fatality that they keep hyping up.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm very curious to see what that's about. Yeah, I have no interest in Devore really. Like, I might try her if
sure.
she impresses me, but I'm not like going in like this comic cast doesn't seem like it'll interest me too much. I have some interest in Katana because I like Katana usually in each game, but
Yeah.
I'm not like looking for a main here. All I really want to see left is Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been waiting on him for a while now,
Yeah, you've
and I
got
really,
several characters that
yeah,
in this game that interest you. You got Cabal, you've got potentially Shao Kahn, and then you've got confirmed Kotal and Erron Black. That's
yeah, and
pretty good.
Jax
And Jax. I
and
mean,
Raiden.
dude, and
Yeah,
Raiden, dude, you got a lot. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I would say my top five right now, just from my brain, is Frost, hopefully, Kollector, Katana, Liu Kang, and Johnny Cage are probably my top five that I have at least some interest in trying.
That's a good list.
So yeah, I mean, I think that wraps it up. So yeah, we'll have another one of these, next week, and we do eventually. I there's some things I want to do where eventually I would like to basically give final ratings on each character before the game comes out. Like we give, because when we first started this, we were doing like character specific episodes where we break them all down, and then we kind of change formats a bit. So I ultimately would like to return to at least ranking them. So I would like to rank or rate or grade our thoughts because we did that before MKX on the Nethercast. We did that or on the Graveyard. I can't even remember. I think you were included on that, weren't you? I can't remember.
I think it was the one for Injustice 2.
Injustice 2. Okay.
Yeah.
We did that for both, I think, too, actually. I do remember the Injustice 2 one now that you mentioned that. So I do want to do that on here on the Random Select where we go through every single character, kind of hit the pros and cons and our overall thoughts on them, and then give them a rating. So I do want to do that before the game comes out because then we can revisit it after the game. And then, yeah, kind of as the game gets closer and closer, we'll definitely get more into final hype, final thoughts before we get our hands on the game, and then we'll have so much more after that, I'm sure.
And we wanted to do the random characters as
And the
well.
random characters, random
Yeah.
select, random characters, and I think we're gonna try and get Temp on, and anybody else. I know like Poots and maybe Randy have expressed interest in doing that. I didn't want to invite anybody else to do that didn't follow through last time because it's kind of pointless at that point. This is something that clearly it's only fun if you follow through. It's not fun
Yeah.
if you just do it just for the hell of it. So yeah, I want to do that where we all randomly roll for characters. I think what we did is we rolled we rolled dice basically to randomly go down the roster. If you roll a 20, you pick the 20th character on the list, and then you roll a second time, and then you get that character, and then it's up to everybody else on the panel basically to vote between the two of who you have to learn. So I had last time for MKX Devora was the one that they chose, and then I also had it was between Devora and Quan Chi. I ended up learning Devora there towards the end and actually played her in online matches and felt comfortable with her, so she was a lot of fun. I played the Venomous one. I thought that was a lot of fun. And Quan Chi was my second character that was technically rolled, but I didn't have to learn, but I learned him anyways. I learned a little bit. I don't even really count him. He's kind of a half learn. Never took him online to any extent, but just learned him in training mode. Temp got Reptile and Goro. He learned both of those. And yeah, so
And you ended up loving Reptile, so
He loved both. Well, I mean,
That's
yeah, he
good.
kind of played both of them, had a lot of fun. But yeah, Reptile is
Yeah.
especially a character that I think was his favorite one at the end of the day. I think between that and Cryo. So, but yeah, so we'll definitely do that and get some random characters. So that way maybe we learn a character that we weren't planning on learning. So that could be a fun way to check them out. Oh yeah, Jackie's kind of up there for me too, and maybe like an honorable mention. I don't think I would play Jackie, but man, her gameplay. When I went and rewatched her breakdown, she just has a lot of fun things about her. I
She
love
looks
her
really
stance.
fun.
Yeah, I love her stance, the
Yeah.
Muay Thai stance, like the Sagat stance.
Yeah,
Looks really
I love
cool.
that shit.
So
Yeah, she's like definitely a character on like a good rainy day I'm gonna check out for sure. Once like maybe like a
yeah,
month in, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'll mess around with Jackie finally.
yeah, the cancels are tight. Yeah, she had a lot of cool things, and I think if she does a little bit more with that shield, I think I'd be really, really more excited. And if she had maybe a couple other like skins, like different outfits or whatever that kind of were up more my alley. Like I like the jacket one. I thought that was cool. But yeah, something a little bit more a little more different or unique, I think would be put her even more in like a must try category for me. But anyways,
Yeah.
that wraps up this episode. Thanks everybody for tuning in and take care everybody. We will see you soon. Did they announce when the next Combat Cast is?
It's just next week sometime, probably
Okay.
Thursday or Wednesday or something.
So yeah, we will be recording, I'm sure, that night of that Combat Cast. So thanks everybody for tuning in and see you guys later.
Peace.